Hey guys, I would imagine that most of the people that are watching a pool video on YouTube are familiar with the concept of looking at the object ball as they shoot, as they're aiming. Just to make things clear, what I'm going to talk about a little bit in this video is what I'm looking at on my final stroke. So typically what I will do when I'm shooting, let me just give you a little bit more of a side view. I'm curious to know, do other people do this? Are other people more random? Do they do something else? So when I'm taking my practice strokes consist of looking at the object ball on my way back, looking at the cue ball on my way forward. Back, looking at the object ball, forward, looking at the cue ball. Then on my entire final stroke, it's all object ball, back and forward. That's the way I do it. So my eyes are kind of, flapping back and forth, focus-wise, between the cue ball and the object ball as I take my practice strokes. One of the reasons that I don't take a lot of practice strokes is maybe because my eyes get tired of doing that. If I do too many, I'll just completely lose focus. My eyes will wander off. Sometimes I'll close them, which is never a good thing when you're playing pool, I don't think. So I'm not going to cover looking at the object ball any more than what I just did. I think anybody watching this is familiar with that concept. It's not really that far out of a concept. But I want to talk about some other things that you can look at. Some other things that I've had some good players tell me they do look at. And I don't know if I completely believe them, but maybe I do. So one of the things would be looking beyond the object ball and aiming at that. In this case, this is a perfectly straightened shot. I can aim the cue ball to scratch in the center of that pocket. And I can do all of my practice strokes and all that, just aiming that cue ball at that pocket. And then shooting the cue ball at that pocket. The two ball just happened to be in my way. In that case, the two ball just happened to go in. I've talked to people that have done that on other types of shots. So I just want to just cut to 4. I've talked to people that won't be looking at the 4. They'll look at it when they're getting set up and all that. But when they're actually down there aiming and doing their practice strokes, they're looking at a spot on this rail over here, pretending the 2's not there at all. But then since the 2 just happens to be there, then it goes in. Now, the first time I talked to a guy about doing that, aiming at that rail, I asked what is probably the obvious question: why in the hell are you doing that? And this is what he said. And what he said was, say I want to shoot the 7. This is, again, a perfectly straightened shot. I could be aiming at the 7 and the cue, and the cue ball and the eye flapping I was talking about. I could also pick the center of the pocket and aim at it. I could also pick, I have a rock wall back there. I could find a point that lines up on that rock wall, and I could pretend I'm aiming the cue ball at that. The theory that was told to me is, if I'm aiming at the 7, which is a foot in front of the cue ball, there's going to be a part of me that I guess realizes, well, hell, it's only a foot in front of me. It's kind of easy. There's going to be a part of me, part of my brain, that may end up getting a little bit lazy because it's such an easy aim. But if I'm aiming at something over on that wall, which is, let's call it 15 feet away, that same part of my brain that wanted to get lazy before, now might not want to do that because it has to be much more accurate. There's much less margin for error for me to aim this cue ball at that spot over there on the wall. Think about like archery. If you're like an amateur archer and you put a target, let's just say 20 meters away. You're used to that, and sometimes the shots are tough, whatever. You're used to aiming at a target 20 meters away. And then you go to and watch some Olympic archers. Their target, same target, but now it's 70 meters away. If you ever have a chance like to do that and go, man, that's tough. It's aim small and miss small is what I was trying to get at. If I'm aiming at a ball a foot in front of me, that is easier to my brain than aiming at a spot 15 feet away. And if I came around the other way, I could find a spot way the hell back there, 50 feet away, and aim at it. And that part of my brain is going to go, oh man, that's tough. You need to, really aim it. You can't be lazy with it. That's what the guy told me about why he does things like that. Aiming past the cue ball, pretending that it's not there. The only time that I've really done it, and I haven't even done it then with that damn much, so I just wanted to just put the 7 in here. They're pretty close together, and the only way I can see the contact point on that 7 is to be way up here, because as soon as I get down, now the cue ball is obscuring the point I want to hit on the 7. So I can't focus on that point because I can't see it because the cue ball's in the way. But what I can do though, is I can get it lined up, pretend the 7 is not there, and in this case it looks like I'm just aiming the cue ball at this point. Again, pretending the 7's not there, aim the cue ball at that point, and just because the 7's there, it should, in theory, go in. In theory. I mentioned 20 seconds ago that I don't have a whole lot of success with this. My brain doesn't want me to pull a trigger looking over here. My brain's like, dude, there's an object ball right here. You should be looking at it. That's just the way it happens. One of the times that I will look at something other than the object ball are kick shots. Rail first shots. And for some reason I want to shoot this rail first so I can get the cue ball over here because I got crappy shape. Instead of leaving myself here or here, I got crappy shape. So shoot your rail first. And in this case, I'm looking. I'm finding a spot on this rail that I think is going to put the 7 in. That was embarrassing to miss that one, by the way. If you watch my channel, to see somebody make everything they shoot at, I'm sorry, you are going to be in for disappointment. That doesn't happen that way. Kick shots, pretty obviously same thing. Kick shot is the same thing as a real first shot. It's just more extreme. I'm not looking at the 7 anymore. Once I get it set up, whatever I'm going to do, whatever method I'm going to do to determine a point on this rail that I want to hit, then that's my focus. So I pull back, I'm looking at that point on the rail. I go forward, I'm looking at the cue ball. Back on that rail. Forward to cue ball. And the entire real shot is that point on the rail. And I still missed him. Made that shot though. So does that make up for it? Doubt it. It's hard to talk to the camera, man. This is why so many people will shoot and then they'll come back later on and do commentary. Nah, my channel, I guess maybe I'm too lazy to do stuff like that. So, you can look at the object ball. I covered that very briefly. You can look beyond the object ball. You can look, I guess, kind of like beside the object ball. I should have done rail first on something like this. Even I can make this, right? But I'm focusing on that rail. If I missed that shot, I would have had to now quit pull and take up knitting for a hobby or something. So object ball, beyond the object ball, kind of like beside the object ball. You can also look at the cue ball, and that can be the focus depending on the shot. One of the times that I'm always looking at the cue ball is on jump shots. Hey, just happen to have a jump cue over here. So if I'm going to put this 2 in, and I'm going to shoot a jump shot, well, I don't really give a shit where the 2 is now. It's a half inch in the pocket. But no matter where it is, I would get lined up. And then my focus has to be on hitting this cue ball accurately. Hitting it not just in the accurate direction, but hitting it in the right place. I don't want to hit it over here on the right, over here on the left, too far up high, too far down low. I want to hit it exactly where I want to hit it. And so it becomes the focus of what am I doing? If I'm ignoring the 2 ball, I'm really kind of ignoring the 7 as well. My entire focus has to be on hitting this cue ball accurately on that shot. I finally make a shot and I follow it in. But that's fine. That's fine. I don't mind mixing and scratching everything. On YouTube, we preserve forever and ever and ever. Another case, I'm not going to do it because I don't feel like racking the balls up, is if you're playing like 9 ball or 10 ball or something, and your focus is hitting the cue ball accurately, probably in the center and hard. So you can get lined up, and then your focus goes back to that cue ball. Cue ball, cue ball, cue ball, cue ball, cue ball, cue ball. There's no flapping back and forth. Because hitting the cue ball accurately, especially when you're hitting it that hard, is the most important thing. You don't want the cue ball flying off the table, for example, killing the bystander or something like that. Another thing that I'll do, and some people will also do, and I can't down here because my ceiling is too low, would be like swerves and masses. Like, so I want to swerve around the 7 and make the 2 this time instead of a jump shot. Not 100% sure why. Maybe there's something. Yeah, something like that. So I can't jump over the 5 and the 7. Vader could probably do it and then draw back, but I couldn't. So I'm looking at a swerve. And in that case, I'm going to try it with my ceiling. In that case, I'm going to be just finding a spot out here that misses both these balls, elevate, and now I'm looking at the cue ball and this spot. Depending on how the shot it is, I may just look at the cue ball. I'm looking to see what am I looking at here. Yeah, I picked this spot, but I'm not looking at it anymore. I'm just looking at making sure I hit the cue ball accurately. And I hit the 5 anyway. To hit the 5 with my stick, that's really embarrassing. I'm going to try that again because it's like that ball just bit immediately. That's not going to get it. Let's try this one more time here. There's my ceiling. It's not going to work. Sorry, y'all. Just use your imagination. You have to do that a lot on my channel. There can be times where the hit and doing something cutesy up here, you don't care where the 2 is. If I was a Mass A master, maybe I could jack up and Mass A around this like this, and maybe I'd be looking at a spot on the cloth. Maybe I would be aiming at that spot on the cloth, ignoring the 2. You don't always have to look at the object ball. For most shots, that's what people are doing, and with good reason, I believe. I think the most important thing is not what you look at. It's that you're consistent about it. I don't want to shoot this 7 one time by just cutting the 7 in, like like a normal person, and then come up later on in the same game or later with a similar shot, and this time shoot the 2 by aiming at a point on the rail or a point on the wall. I want to be consistent about it. Other things that I could potentially do would be, nobody ever does this, pick a spot on the cloth. Pick a spot on the cloth here, before the object ball, and aim at that. No, I don't think anybody does that. But it's possible, and if you do it, I think as long as you do it every time, then you're going to get better at it. Your inner pool player's going to get used to it. And you'll look weird. If as soon as you tell somebody what you're doing, they're going to go, why aren't you looking at the object ball? It's right there. Well, because I didn't feel like it, I guess. Thanks, guys.